Thank you. Arigato.
The Your Own Pay Podcast Network, inspiring, motivating, and educating entrepreneurs around the world. It's Damashe and Michael, just talking tech.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a beautiful Tuesday morning. It is Michael, and I'm joined here with Damashe. Damashe and Michael, just talking tech on Tuesday mornings. This is DM19, and I'm at Payon, P-A-Y-O-W-N on Twitter. He's
at Damashe, D-A-M-A-S-H-E on Twitter.
Awesome. You better go follow both of us. Bring us your feedback so we know what you guys want to hear and what you're enjoying hearing about. So we've talked about your domain name. We talked about building your website, and we've talked about getting your website hosted, some of the features your website can have, but more importantly than all of that, I think, in my opinion, is building that visual brand for your website, that way that people can recognize you. And you can do this with themes. So Damashe, what is a WordPress theme? Can you give us a quick explanation of it?
So a theme for your website is going to customize the look of your website. So whether you want your site to look like an old style newspaper, a high glossy magazine, is it a photo gallery? Is it all about audio? But it's going to give a visual presentation of your site. So think about it like, how you decide to paint your house. Your house looks like your house, but the colors that you choose make a big difference in how people view your house. So you want a theme for your website. And Mike, people can find themes all over the place. You can buy themes from places. You can get free themes from the WordPress directory. How do you normally find a theme, Mike?
Well, Damashe, the one way that I find themes, and I've done this for a year since I started using WordPress, is I will log into my WordPress dashboard, go over to themes and click on new theme. And this will put you in a search field where you can search the WordPress directory. I believe there are thousands of themes available in the WordPress directory that you can install for free. And I'll say, okay, this client wants a WordPress site that's all about presenting recipes. So I'll type in a keyword like recipes, for example, and that will bring up all of the themes in the WordPress directory, of course, shown in groups of 10 or 20 or 25 or 50, depending on how you have it set up, that contain the word recipe. Now, the word recipe might be in the description. It might be in the title of the theme. It might even be in the author of the theme, but it gives you a good starting point. So when you're browsing the themes after doing a search in the WordPress directory, there's a preview option that you can choose that will load the content of your website into that particular theme. And as a screen reader or as a sighted user, you can visually or audibly hear or see what your website will look like while using that new theme. Recently, though, I will admit that I have invested into a theme, and I'll tell you more about that towards the end of the podcast episode, what theme that is. However, up until about 6 months ago, that was my process for finding a theme. What about you, Damashe? Is that what you did?
That is pretty much what I do. A lot of times I will go try out a theme. And here, Michael mentioned this and he sort of glossed over it just a little bit. But the key thing is you can change your theme at any time. You can try a theme, you can preview it, but sometimes previewing it doesn't necessarily give you the full experience that you're looking for, especially in past versions of WordPress. Yeah. But nowadays it's pretty good, but you may want to really check it out, see how it works, see how it feels, see what kind of customizations you can do with it. You can do that if you decide, hey, I don't like this theme, or if once you've set up your theme and got it looking all amazing, you ask somebody sighted, if you happen to be a blind person, to take a look at it, or if you're sighted and you ask a blind person to go check out your site to see can they get around it, and they tell you this sucks, you can go change your theme. No big deal. No skin off anybody's back. Nothing's going to get broken. All your posts, all your content is still there exactly the way that it always was. It just is being presented differently when you switch themes. Another way that I have come across themes in the past, and even nowadays I'll go check out a theme sometimes, is from people recommending a theme. There are plenty of WordPress developers that I am in contact with, or I run across a post here or there. They say, hey, this theme is great for, insert blank here. This theme is great for, a news site. So let me go check this out. I know people that are building a news style blog. Let me go see how this theme works. So that is also another way that I've come across quite a bit of themes over the years. So Mike, what are some of the things that you feel people should be aware of or be looking out for as they're choosing a theme for their website?
Right. So the very first theme that I got started with was called WP Base. It looked like a directory where you could scroll down all of the posts and categories on the categories were on the right side and the posts were on the left side, and you could scroll down and click on what information you wanted. I've since upgraded my theme from that theme because I needed more powerful features. And that's the beautiful thing about a theme is if you need features, it's possible that with a combination of plugins and or themes, you can make your website do anything. I recently invested into a theme called Optimize Press, which allows me to build my website, change the colors, change the appearance of where the menus are, but most importantly, create capture pages without having to use a third-party service. And what I mean by a capture page is I can strip all of the unnecessary information, all of the information that could cause you to take a different action than actually filling out your information. Maybe you'll get distracted and want to go read more about this blind guy, or maybe you'll want to go listen to mine and Damashe's podcast. So we take all of those distractions out and present you with one option, and that is to fill out your information. I guess you have two options. You can leave too. And it's very easy to set that up with Optimize Press and very accessible from testing that one. And there are a few other ones that I've tried out and didn't have as much success. So like with plugins and the look of your website, the administration of a theme is something you definitely want to ensure you can do independently as well. Damashe, you know a great theme, and I think you've been using it for a little while. What theme do you recommend?
So a theme that I want to recommend to you guys today is the Priority Premium. And this theme was actually developed completely by a totally blind guy, Jeff Collis, out of Canada. It is a super nice theme, has a lot of options for how you want your site to look. So whether or not you want there to be a sidebar, no sidebar, where you want widgets to go, ordering your menus. A super nice theme, not very highly priced. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's running about $19.99. But it's a super nice theme, completely accessible, which is the thing that sort of drew me to it. And I have been using this theme for a couple of years now. I put it up for several people's websites because they liked one website they saw. So I'm like, oh, well, yeah, go buy the theme and, we'll get you set up with that theme. And they still get to customize their site to look the way they want it to look. So it doesn't look exactly like, say, this website I worked on over there 2 years ago, or the website that I worked on 3 years ago. They still have some customization there. So that's another nice thing to go take a look at. If you're looking for something that is accessible, or if you just want to support Jeff, who has done quite a bit for WordPress accessibility over the years.
Jeff's amazing. I recently picked up his book that I've been recommending to people for a while, and I love the content in that book. And the other cool thing about it is if you're interested in learning more about WordPress and what we discuss, you can go pick up Jeff's book. We'll link to it in the show notes over at yourownpay.com/DM19 and pick that book up. You can also, if you pick up the right bundle, get a copy of the priority theme included in that as well. So really appreciate that, Jeff. And for everyone's side reference, he is not an affiliate of the podcast. So really appreciate what you're doing, Jeff. And Damashe, before we conclude this week's episode all about themes and the appearance of your website, do you have anything else you want to add?
So you guys go over to yourownpay.com/DM19 and check out the show notes, but also take our opportunity and get your free copy of me and Mike's top 10 plugins we feel every website designer or website should have. And these are going to be totally separate from the plugins we recommended in last week's episode. If you missed that, it was all about plugins. So check that out while you're there, but get your copy, get your PDF. Our top 10 recommended plugins for any WordPress site.
And we appreciate you guys for joining us on this Tuesday. We'll talk to you guys next week on the DM show. I'm at Payon, Payown on Twitter. He's
at Damashe, Damashe on the Twitters.
You've been listening to Your Own Pay Podcast. If you've enjoyed today's episode, visit yourownpay.com/cast for exclusive content and to contact us today. We're eager to hear your thoughts and about how you're making this podcast your own. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon. The Your Own Pay Podcast, yourownpay.com.